Hello, friends. So, can Djokovic win another title? That's the question for today. When I say title, it could be a Grand Slam title, it could be a Masters 1000, or it could be an ADP 500 or any other tournament. Now, there are some of the key factors that would remain the same regardless of the type of tournament. And that's what we are going to look into in this video. So, let's get started. Now, the first factor is the fitness and the movement. As we all know, Djokovic is turning 38 in next 4 months. And at this age, it is very difficult to maintain fitness at a consistent level, given so many tournaments that the players have to play throughout the year and they get a very short off season. Movement is another big factor, and I think for Djokovic, this is the most crucial because of his playing style. He's not that aggressive naturally. He does not play like Federer, right? He does not have a huge serve. So movement is the key for him. He's a natural baseliner who likes to move around. He can change directions. And for all of that, for the quick reflexes, he needs to have good movement. That has been his forte throughout his career. But as the age progresses, obviously some of the things do not work as well as they used to, and because of that it impacts the overall results. It's a slight difference, it's not that much. So for a neutral audience, if you look at it, you'll say Djokovic is still playing well, and he looks in form. There is no difference. But if you see closely, if you observe, if you have seen his past performances, you will see that he's a touch slower, and that is expected, but that impacts his game. He's not able to get into position as well, he's not able to defend as well as he used to. And when he tries to attack, because he doesn't get that much time to prepare for the shot, he misses a lot of those shots. So now, earlier, when he used to play from the baseline, when he had the peak form, the peak movement, he used to be having too many gears, right? He used to play from the baseline. He could also use his slice. He could defend likes of against the likes of Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Thiem, Federer, Nadal. He could defend, right? And he could stay in the rally for 15 to 16 shots. But now against the likes of Alcaraz and Sinner, he cannot afford to do that because number one, he gets tired. If he does that, maybe he can be tired after a set or two, and it would be difficult for him to win a Grand Slam with that strategy. The second thing is Sinner and Alcaraz are both aggressive players. They have power, right? So they can change the dimension of the point at any stage. So it's a good rally going well, and suddenly Alcaraz hits a great, huge forehand, and the point is over. And Djokovic cannot prepare for that. And because Alcaraz and Sinner also hit with a lot of topspin, it's very difficult for Djokovic to wait for a mistake from them. So Djokovic has to change his game, and this is where I think movement can has actually done this to Djokovic, because of which Djokovic has to change his game. But at the same time, movement is also something that restricts him from changing his game, because if he's not well prepared for his shot, he cannot be that aggressive, right? So fitness and movement is the key factor. Net game, again, it's interconnected because he's not moving that well. He has to shorten the points, so he has to play on the net more often. And as Federer did later in his career, even if Djokovic is not comfortable or even if he is not in position, he still has to reach the net and try to win the point from there with a good volley, take his chances. He might win only 60% or 65% of the net points that he plays. But again, that would give him more chances, that would save his energy for some of the bigger points where he could afford to stay in the rally and play his best tennis. If it's a 6-all tie break, let's say, he could still play with full energy and avoid this net game or a ultra aggressive game, right? But for that he has to save energy at some moments. So maybe when he's 30 love up, he could go for a one or two random net shots, net points, where he just strolls to the net and tries to finish the point. Maybe it would work, right? So in this way he may save some of the energy. Another factor is the serve. Although Djokovic doesn't have the biggest serve, he does have a good serve, a good second serve as well. But I think he needs to improve upon it even more at this stage of his career, just like Federer had to rely a lot on his serve, on quicker surfaces. And because there are so many good players right now, likes of Sinner, Alcaraz, we saw Fonseca as well, then we have Opelka. So we have good servers, right? And aggressive players. And on quick surfaces like probably Wimbledon or US Open, it would be very difficult for Djokovic to counter that because he's not moving that well. Now, when he started losing in Wimbledon to Alcaraz and struggled against some of the other players. Now, for people it was a surprise, but for me, I thought it was expected because Djokovic, his game, I feel, is not that suited to grass because he likes to play from the baseline because of his flexibility, because of his ability to slide on the grass. I think that has really accounted for his success on that surface. And the fact that he's a great returner, that is also a key factor on that surface. But now, because his movement is restricted, he's not returning that well. Plus, he's not naturally aggressive. Even if he tries to play aggressive, sometimes he misses the shots. At Wimbledon, you also have to bend down on a lot of shots to be able to time it perfectly. If you are feeling tired in your legs, maybe you are not able to do that as well. So again, I feel serve is going to be important so that he gets some free points on his first and second serve, and also as he needs to be aggressive, if he could start with a good serve, he could then control the point with his good forehand and good backhand. Now, the ranking. This is also an important factor because every tournament that he plays, if he is not ranked in the top five, he is going to play some of the other top player very early in the tournament. And Djokovic, just like Nadal, also likes to get into a tournament, practices, and gets better more and more, right? There are some players like Federer who are, on it from the get go. They play really well from point number one. It's not always the case with Djokovic and Nadal. They like to get into a tournament, play a few practice tournaments as well. So I think ranking is very important for Djokovic. If he's able to sustain his top ranking, then I think he'll have good chances because the draw would be favorable to him sometimes, and he would play Alcaraz and the likes of Sinner maybe in the semis or the finals, which is still okay. At least he would avoid them in third or fourth rounds, right? The next factor is the court surface. As I mentioned, the slower the surface, the better it is for Djokovic right now. That is why I think his most chances are going to be on the clay where he has beaten Alcaraz. He plays well in this year's French Open, in last year's French Open 2024. He was injured, but still he was playing well. He could change because when he gets time to set up for the shot, he is still a good player. He can hit good forehands, backhands. The quality of the shot is still there. It's just the movement and it's just the quick reflexes where he has to get set up for the next shot and come back after, maybe when he's pushed out of the baseline or of the sidelines, he has to make a recovery. That's where I think the movement comes into place, right? And that is why I feel on clay he has that extra time to do that, an extra margin for that, and which is why I think on clay he has the best chances. Now on grass, I feel Sinner and Alcaraz are going to dominate, and some of the other big servers as well. Fonseca, for example, he hits so big, he is going to dominate on grass if he can continue his level. So I think it would be difficult for Djokovic to win a tournament on grass as compared to clay. Australian Open, again, a good surface for him because it's not that quick. But the thing is, even if it's not that quick, we have top players competing, right? So court surface is also a key factor. Now, Alcaraz and Sinner, obviously, those are Djokovic's best rivals and the toughest competitors for him right now. Now, if there were likes of the other players, for example, Dominic Thiem or Tsitsipas or the other top players of today, Djokovic would have still been able to beat them at least maybe once in two matches, right? And that would have given him one or two titles as well. But because we are seeing Alcaraz and Sinner in every tournament and they are playing well, they are consistent, so they are not losing. That means Djokovic has to beat one or both of them to win a tournament, and that is very difficult. That is difficult even if Djokovic plays his best tennis right now, because no matter how well he plays, his movement will still be restricted. He cannot become that quick again that he used to, right? And the only thing that could help him is maybe Alcaraz and Sinner have a dip in their form. Maybe they get overconfident, or maybe they make some mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes. Then Djokovic does have a chance to win a Grand Slam against them as well. Now, the changes that Djokovic needs to make, what could be those? Improve the second serve, take more risks, obviously use backhand down the line, because that is one of the strength for Djokovic. I think changing direction on the ball, he's very good at doing that, whether it's the forehand or the backhand. So I think he has to use that more and more, because that's a rare quality to have, right? And because he's so good at it, he should apply that more. That would also help trouble the opponents, because they could not be set to hit their favorite shot, right? So backhand down the line, very important. Go to the net more often. We've already discussed that. He needs to go to the net more. Change direction, as I mentioned. Backhand on the line is going to help with that, but also forehand, slice, whatever it is. He has to ensure that the opponent doesn't stay on the same side of the net for two or three shots. He has to keep them moving. Work on preparation for the shot. So even if Djokovic cannot get quicker the way he used to be, he can still work a little bit on his preparation. So maybe the reflexes or the recovery time that he's taking, maybe getting ready quickly. If you see his earlier matches, like 10 years back, he used to be very quick in recovery after a shot, and it was very difficult. It just looked like he cannot be beaten from the baseline. He was so quick. But right now, that's not the case. You hit one good shot, one strong shot, and Djokovic is in trouble. That is happening in most of the surfaces, right? And that is because he's a touch slower when he prepares for the next shot. So maybe he can work a little bit on that if possible. Now, can he win another title? Yes, definitely. He should win at least one more tournament. I think he's more capable than that. Can he win another Grand Slam? Maybe. As I mentioned, Alcaraz or Sinner's level has to drop, or maybe they don't have to be in the draw, or they should have a bad day. So, and Djokovic should have a very good day. So maybe that is something. Can he be number one again? Maybe not, because there is Alcaraz, there is Sinner, there are a bunch of other players who are playing well. So it would be difficult. Even if he gets to number one, it would be very difficult for him to maintain it for multiple weeks. So let's see what happens. What do you guys think of this video? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.